What's up, peeps? We're back. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining us for our YouTube edition of AEW Insider. As always, we got a heck of a show. We got some AEW news, some WWE news, my Hell in a Cell full card and prediction. We got some Impact Wrestling news and random wrestling and sporting news as always. Remember, if you want to win that Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse ringside collectible action figure, you got to stick around to the end of the show to find out how. Since this is the AEW Insider, let's kick it off with a little AEW news. AEW. On Dynamite Friday night, Wardlow took on Jake Hager in a cage, a Bellator cage, the octagon. Why Wardlow would take on Hager in that kind of match, I don't know, because that's what Hager does on the side, and he hasn't lost inside the cage yet. Wardlow is a beast, but he is no MMA fighter. At one point in the match, I thought Wardlow legit broke Hager's arm, and from the announcers' reactions, it seemed like they thought so also. Then at one point, Wardlow was put in a submission and was supposed to powerbomb Hager to get out of it, but he could not lift him up to do so. Now, I'm a Wardlow mark, but this is like the second time in a few weeks or maybe a month or two I saw him do this. Being that big with all that strength, you gotta back it up, Wardlow. Big men are supposed to pull off big, powerful moves. In the end, Jake Hager choked him out and put Wardlow to sleep, so he never tapped out. They didn't want to make him seem weak. They acted like he passed out. Now, Hager and Wardlow are 1-for-1 in matchups against each other. Then MJF came out and attacked Jericho's injured elbow until the man of 1,000 holds, Dean Malenko, came out, and MJF took Malenko out with an elbow to the face. Out of nowhere, Sammy Guevara's music hits and he hit the ring and the Pinnacle took off. Now, I don't know if it was a slip or not, but the announcers kept saying that Malenko has many health issues. They wouldn't say what they are. Then all of a sudden, Jim Ross blurts out that he has Parkinson's disease. Now, I don't know if that's well known or not. And then right after he said that, Tony Schiavone quickly covered it up and repeated that Malenko had health issues to deal with. Afterwards, Thunder Rosa demanded a cage match against MJF for putting his hands on Malenko. This is AEW, so I think Tony Khan will definitely make that happen. Now, you would think the match would turn out to be a big shit show, but it was actually done very well, and I enjoyed it a lot. Now, since the start of AEW and for a long time after, Tony Khan and AEW employees always said that there is no competition between them and WWE. WWE would just act like AEW didn't even exist. Yet recently, while speaking with WFan on the Moose and Maggie show, Khan had this to say. It's intense. It is a competition. There's no way around it. It's a true competition. I'm really excited about being a challenger brand and taking on a huge company. And I think for a long time, fans were demanding an alternative. And AEW on TNT has given them that. Normally we do our show on Wednesday nights, but I'm doing a special Friday Night Dynamite this week. And then in a couple weeks, we will return to our Wednesday night time slot. And we'll be on Wednesdays from here on out. We really carved out a great fan base, and Wednesday nights we made a tradition for ourselves. We had competition on Wednesday nights, aka NXT, and we don't anymore. I think we're very successful to go head-to-head against any other wrestling companies on Wednesday night. We carved out that night for ourselves. In the fall, we're going to be doing a show called Rampage. That will also be on Friday nights. And I think hopefully with Friday Night Dynamite this week and the shows we've been doing recently, we're building a nice tradition of AEW on Friday night also. On to WWE. Well, Hell in a Cell is this Sunday, so here's the full card and my predictions. We do have Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. Now, this match should be pretty good, unless they end it real quickly because of all that freaky shit, blah, blah, blah. Even though the storyline has sucked, I mean, come on, peeps. In real life, Shayna would choke Bliss the fuck out in 2.3 seconds flat and be done with her. But that won't happen in this match, unfortunately. So I gotta go with Bliss. I want Shayna to win, but I'm saying who I think WWE's gonna pick to win, it's gonna be Bliss. We also have Sami Zayn versus KO. Now, everybody wants and expects KO to win. These two have had many great matches way before NXT and WWE. This one should be a show stealer if done right, but I gotta go with my dog Sami Zayn. We also have Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. Now this should be great. They are giving Cesaro his push, but it hasn't been working so well if you ask me. I am still glad it's happening though. I believe Cesaro beat Seth last time, and I doubt he will again this time. So I'm going with Rollins to take this one. We do have the WWE Raw Women's Championship, which is Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Now, I can't believe the main roster, aka Vince, ruined Rhea Ripley. She was so fucking gold in NXT, and then they move her to their main roster, and look what she's doing now. I want to go for her, but Vince might feel that Rhea is not cutting it as the champion, and he might just take that gold from her. I'm still going with Rhea, though. We have Bayley versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, God, I really wish Bayley would win the title back. She was a great fucking champ. I just feel it's too soon for them to take the belt off Bianca. Bianca has not been great on the main roster either, but not as bad as they're portraying Rhea Ripley. So if one of them has to pass the strap, I feel it would be Rhea to Flair and not Belair to Bayley. So I'm going to go with Belair to win this one, but personally, I really want Bayley to win. I mean, ding dong, hello! And finally, we have the WWE Championship up for grabs, which is the almighty Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell. Now, Drew was a great champ. It was a shame his run was not done in front of live crowds, but it is what it is. Myself, the fans, and Bobby Lashley have been waiting for this championship run for eons in the WWE. It is not time to take that gold from him just yet. So I gotta go with the almighty Bobby Lashley. And it sucks to say finally, because we all know that Roman Reigns was supposed to be taking on Rey Mysterio in Hell in a Cell, but they actually did it on SmackDown last night. On SmackDown, Reigns won, but nobody interfered. After the match, Jimmy came out and acknowledged Roman and raised his hand as the winner. Then Mysterio struggled to his feet, and Reigns choked Rey out for a second time and told him Happy Father's Day. It is said that the USA Network is furious that Fox got a Hell in a Cell match and they did not. They do not like how WWE is catering to Fox and not them, especially with the ratings that Raw has had. This week, Sportskeeda did a great article on what wrestlers Stephanie McMahon actually despises. So here's the top 5. Number 5 is Rob Van Dam. Number 4, Paul Heyman. Number 3, CM Punk. Number 2, Caitlyn. And number 1, AJ Lee. And I didn't give the reasoning behind why Stephanie actually dislikes these people and despises them, because I'd rather you give Sportskeeda some love and go check the article out on their site. Now, Bronson Reed and Karrion Kross were at SmackDown last night. They had dark matches, aka matches off camera, aka for Vince to see them work. It looks like the main roster is looking for a few big guys. Just so you know, they didn't face off against each other. They fought other opponents, but they could both be getting called up very soon. Bobby Lashley was asked about Brock Lesnar facing him, and some people saying that Brock doesn't want to face him. Lashley had this to say: I don't know that answer. I really don't. I haven't said no. I've always, as you could tell, I can only stay ready for so long, but I don't know. Maybe it's something that's not important to him. Maybe he's already accomplished everything that he wants to accomplish. Maybe it's a lose-lose situation for him. I don't know what his reasoning is. While speaking to ESPN Sport Nation, Roman Reigns was asked about his rumored matches against John Cena and The Rock. Reigns would send a warning to both Cena and The Rock, telling them to stay far away from WWE. Reigns said, yeah, a match with The Rock, is a dream for a lot of our fans. But it ain't a dream of his. You know what I mean? I get a lot of this with both Dwayne and John. These guys are doing very well for themselves. There's no question about it. But if I were these guys, I don't know if I'd want to come back and deal with me. I'm a problem right now for everybody. If I were them, I'd stay on set and keep pumping out those streaming service movies. Don't come to the ring. This is what I do. On to Impact Wrestling. Now, Impact Wrestling was great this week. Don Callis did have it out for Sami Callihan again, and in the end, Don Callis was the one that was actually fired for Impact. And Tommy Dreamer was the man who came out and did the honors during an in-ring segment where Scott D'Amore was present as well. Callis disappeared from Impact Wrestling executives page a while ago. It was thought at the time that he had left his role with the company. It was later reported that the expectation is for him to continue his work with AEW and Kenny Omega. It was a very good segment and show though, so definitely check it out, peeps. On to some random wrestling and sporting news. Well, it looks like Logan Paul is trying to secure his future. Not that it wasn't already secured, but he definitely is aiming high. He wants to fight Iron Mike Tyson now. Mike Tyson had already publicly stated that he likes Jake and Logan Paul and doesn't want to hurt them. But Logan Paul might invite a punch from the baddest man on the planet. Logan Paul does have a podcast. It's called Impulsive. And on his most recent episode, he had this to say. Someone mentioned Mike Tyson. My lawyer mentioned it. And he's like, nah, Tyson will rip your head off. You don't stand a chance. And I'm like, I just went through all this. You can't tell me I can't beat Mike Tyson. He's old. So we got to see this happen, peeps. And finally, this week, Vice released a documentary on WWE's China. It was fucking so good, peeps. I already known about Joni. I known about her for a long time. Howard Stern, what she was doing, her adult entertainment work, all that. But you got to see this episode if you didn't see it, man. And Godspeed, China. Thank you for everything you did for the industry and just as a human being in general. Alright, peeps, that's it for this episode. Remember, if you want to win that Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse ringside collectible exclusive action figure, you gotta be subscribed to our channel. Besides that, pick any video, like, share, and comment. So go to YouTube, to the AEW Insider, hit that subscribe button, pick any video, including this one, like, share, and comment. When we hit 500 members, I will be doing a drawing, and somebody's going to win that awesome action figure. Remember to show us some love on all major social media platforms, including YouTube and Facebook under the AEW Insider, and Twitter under the AEW Insider 1, as in the number 1. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining us for the AEW Insider. Ciao, peeps.